Hello friends, I hope this video finds you well. The book of the week for Lyrics of Life is called Crushing It by Gary Vee. It's a great read for really anyone trying to build their brand on social media, and I fall into that category right now. But it's not only for business owners or people starting companies. It can really apply to anything. So it's mainly about entrepreneurship, but some of the takeaways that I have could be applied to really any situation. So the first thing in Crushing It that really stood out to me was this concept of authenticity and actually caring. Have you ever seen a commercial where, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, it just seemed kind of cold? Or maybe it's a celebrity who's in an interview and you just get the feel like they don't actually really care about anybody besides themselves. It could even be a person that you know, but Gary talks a lot about that in his book, and he says it's really important to care because your customers or your fans or whoever it is going to sense whether or not you're being authentic or not. So it's really important to have integrity in everything you do. So I guess one of the ways I've kind of tried to implement that is by attempting not to do so many takes in my covers. So you might hear some mistakes, my voice is out of tune, or I miss a note here or there. That's my goal, is to try to be more authentic in it. Not that I go try to make mistakes, so to speak, but that I try not to overproduce my content in a way to make it seem a little bit forced. But the second thing in the book Gary talks about is the power of collaboration. So as somebody who's a very small YouTuber like myself, maybe other musicians watching this, it might be difficult for you to know how to branch out. And I haven't tapped into this yet, but there are so many small YouTube channels between 100 to 1,000 subscribers that if you just did one video and said featuring so-and-so, that other channel, you would get a lot more views than before, just because you're pulling in now an entirely different group of people, group of subscribers. That works for Instagram too. If you hashtag or you say you're with somebody else, it can kind of help cross-pollinate, is the word Gary Vee uses, between different creators. And then number 3 is tell a story with your brand. These are all things that I'm not really doing well at yet, but I'd love to explore. Is it kind of relates to this idea of your why, right? If you've read the book Simon Sinek's Start With Why, a story has a point, a purpose, a theme. So when companies are out to produce a product, Apple doesn't just say, hey, here's an iPhone, it's great, it's got a bunch of features, it makes your life easier, you can just use a touchscreen and check the internet, check the weather, all that. They don't approach it from that way. They often say, we value individuality, or we value you having the convenience. And they start with the why instead of starting with the actual product. So it's kind of interesting. So telling a story with your brand relates to the why. And then lastly, this book was really all about, you can kind of see it on the front above the Crushing It title. It's got listed Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, then it's got iTunes and YouTube, but it basically breaks down how you should use each platform. And I've never really been great at social media. I kind of hopped off earlier in life, but wanted to revisit it once I've seen how powerful it is as a tool for business. So I guess Gary says it's tailoring your content for each platform is really important, because if you're using Twitter the same way you're using Facebook, the same way you're using Instagram, it's just not really going to work, because there's a reason we go to Facebook for certain things and then Instagram for other things. So a couple good points he mentioned is Facebook is really good for long form. So if you were giving a life update, okay, here's my new job, or I just got a dog, or whatever, I just had a baby, anything like that, is great for Facebook. And sometimes I guess it's good for Instagram too, but I feel like Facebook's more forgiving when it comes to low quality photos or videos. But Instagram, there's more of an expectation that you do the work on the back end, editing and making sure your photos look good. And it's not that you have to like abide by the rules that be, but I've just found, I guess I'm just kind of trusting Gary's advice there that like the high quality pictures work a lot better on Instagram than Facebook, where it's more about like groups and engagement, and sharing different videos and things like that. So that's some of the takeaways I got from Crushing It by Gary Vee. I really recommend the book, and let me know if you have any thoughts about what I discussed today. I'd love to hear from you as well. If there are any books that you recommend talking about in the future, drop those in the comments as well. I hope you guys have a good week.